kickbacks. And unfortunately, you know, the tragedy that happened in Colorado Springs the other night, you know, it was expected and predictable. We all, within Gays Against Groomers, saw this coming from a mile away. Yeah. And sadly, I don't think it's going to stop until we end this evil agenda that is attacking children.
Even more tragic than untimely death is that the 5 people who were killed in the nightclub that night, there is no evidence at all that they were Christians. And so assuming that they were not, that they had not accepted the truth of the gospel of Christ and affirmed Jesus Christ as the Lord of their life, they are now reaping the consequences of having eternal damnation. And that is...
Brink got a call from his son's defense attorneys telling him Aldrich was involved in a shooting at an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs. Brink says he's a Mormon, and his first reaction was, why was my son at a gay bar?
It happened, they started telling me about the incident. There was a shooting involving, you know, multiple people. Right. And then later on to find that it's a gay bar.
Yeah, right. And
I was like, oh my God, is he gay? I was just scared. Oh my God, shit, is he gay? And he's not gay, so it's like,
in recent events, the Club Q shooting had a lot of talk and a lot of things going around it that I had to address. So it's going to be summed up in this kind of very broad title. So I apologize if it seems like it's clickbaity. I just don't know how to encompass all of this, you know, without sounding too crazy. So let me just jump in and say that the Club Q shooting happened in Colorado. Victims were of the LGBTQ community by a far-right jackass who just wanted to harm LGBTQ people. I said in a previous video that this felt kind of coming, like people who have been, you know, perpetuating this gay people are grooming your kids, and you know they're pedophiles. This is, you know, bound to happen, and it was proven true. This guy was, you know, shooting up a gay club, and we don't know exactly his reasons just yet, since it's so fresh, but his father was interviewed, and his father said in the clip that I've just played that he was justified. He shot up these people and did it because actions, you know, give you result faster than, you know, I guess rhetoric. I guess it's the guy looked meth out, so like there was no reasoning with a motherfucker like that. But his rhetoric is what's scary. Like he even, you know, came out and said that, hey, I support this Republican member of I believe a House seat in Colorado, who's his relative. He came out in support of that man. And so it kind of comes full circle where it's like, look, this isn't just a fringe radical idea. These people who are in the Republican Party want gay people dead. The father, who was obviously, you know, unwell, he was malicious with his, like, he was fearful that his kid was gay. And then when it turned out his kid was a mass murderer, oh, thank goodness. That is what these people are. And if you want to sit here and say we have a disagreement in beliefs, that's fine. But when you start saying your beliefs are going to hurt me, are going to kill me, and then fuck you. You know, like, I just don't know how any others to put it. Like, you are the fascist piece of shits that we don't want to deal with in this world. I don't know how else to put that. Like, how I sound crazy being fearful for my safety when there's people out there who are like, oh yeah, you're trans, you're grooming my children, and then not expect to follow that up with violence. Like, if the premise was true that these people are grooming children, then the result of violence shouldn't be surprising. But they play it like a, there was violence? What? I would have never allowed that to happen. Even though their rhetoric was like, your children are being groomed, they're gonna take away your society as you know it. They are the monsters. They're the villains. The transphobes. You know, really, really prod the fear because it works. It's effective. But then you can't play coy and say, well, you know, it was just a disagreement, and we were just saying that because they're like, either it's true or it's not. Either your convictions are justified or they're not. And when we see the rhetoric of like the father, it's whatever. You know, that's just one crazy methed out dude. But when you see somebody like Tim Pool or that woman I played in the clip before, they are usually more accepted. They're more normal, quote unquote, people. Middle America can digest a lot of what they're saying and not be worried. You know, they're reputable in a sense. Whereas that methed out dad, you know, he's cracked out and stuff. Like he's obviously like someone who's fringe. When Tim Pool said stuff like the whole transphobic thing and accused them of grooming, he victim blamed. It doesn't address that these people were murdered in cold blood. It was, well, they were doing something a little wrong. That's dangerous. If you believe that, then you want me dead, right? Like that's, if I was a trans person and you believe that I'm grooming children, my next thought is, well, you probably think I'm going to harm your kid. And then now you believe I should be harmed. Like that's it. Just admit that. Just, you can't sit there and go, I think they're grooming kids, but then I also don't think violence should occur. Either you're lying about the grooming kids and you're just using that just because you don't like them, or you truly believe it and you want them dead. But the result is the same. You want them locked up? Do you want them? You want some legality. You want some force. And legally, no one's ever going to lock these people up for being trans or having these events. And that's what happened at this place. Is there was a was it trans thingy, like the shows? I always forget what they're called. Drag shows. There was like a drag show, and people were blaming the LGBTQ, you know, for doing it. They were blaming the club, and it was making it seem justified. That is violence. That is violence. And if you don't feel it as such, you at this point are lying to yourself. Club Q is one, and it's going to be another one next, and it's going to be continuing and continuing. There's a reason why like trans violence has increased. That's why trans people kill themselves at greater numbers than any other group. It's a dangerous rhetoric, and they know it, and they don't care. And rather much, I just want them just to admit, like, look, man, if there was a bill today to sign that you just want trans people not to exist, I'm curious how many of them would sign it. I'm curious how many of you people out there would sign this, because people that go on my video typically are more right wing. Surprisingly, I guess my titles are that egregious to people. I'm like, if you can sit there and say I would ban marriage, gay marriage, which is something that Clarence Thompson is doing. Thomas, God, I can't, you know, get names right. If you're into this mindset, then I don't feel safe around you, and I want to beat you in every form of reality. I want to beat you in the political debates. I want to beat you in the election, because I think you are dangerous. You are a fascist if you believe this way, and it's just the beginning. These people want us dead. If you're listening to this as an LGBTQ person, or a person who is an ally, or a person who just isn't as fringe and radical as these crazy people are, they are going to start killing people when they can. Given the opportunity, given how this rhetoric is becoming more and more norm, they're trying to paint the trans people as this crazy cuckoo fringe group when they've been around for years, millennia. They are wanting to see the demise of trans people. If you don't believe that, if you were like, I think they're weird, but I don't want to see them die, then you are the normal one. Those people out there who are in Congress, like, it's one thing when I hear these people shit talk like the social justice warriors. It's like, yeah, I know it's annoying, but it's not like name one SJW in a presidential seat. You know, like, how many congressional seats does that liberal pink-haired woman have? Pink-haired, non-binary person have? Probably no one. Probably one. I'm trying to think of anybody that is as lefty, as LGBTQ open as many of the boogeymen they fear. Most of these old fogies that are in office are like center right and don't even understand what a neo-pronoun is, right? Or, stuff like that. So it's a boogeyman. The real fear is that these trans people are going to be marginalized because they're an easy group to target. They're weird. They're outside of the norm, and they don't commit to this social normity that you and I would conform to if you were a cis person. So it's a really easy group to target. They stand out. They stand out very much so. And yeah, even if you're passing, quote unquote, as a trans person or as a gay person looking to be straight, it's eventually going to catch up to you. And principle wise, like, you shouldn't hide. You are. So eventually, when it comes to it, and these Republican piece of shits want to harm you, it's going to be a hard battle for us to hide. So we have to fight it now and make sure these idiots never take office. And it's an uphill battle because they have potentially the most power as a majority of our Supreme Court. is right-wing figures who don't believe in these trans and LGBTQ people should have the rights that we all have. The Senate, our House, our past presidents, and potentially upcoming presidents are going to be as hard on these poor souls. So yeah, I mean, let's just not victim blame. Let's address the xenophobic elephant in the room and see from there. But I think many of these people are comfortable. They've come comfortable with the rhetoric that they speak, and they're becoming more comfortable because they think that they're going to be empowered very much soon. And many of the people would agree with them. So if it's uphill battle they want, let's uphill battle we'll give them. So thank you all so much. Thank you. Goodbye.